Good morning, everyone. Myself, Rubina, in front of you, back with the next video. Today, we will be discussing about the C tokens. Okay. In the last class, we have seen in the last video we have seen about how to design a C program, basic structure of the C program. We have seen. Now, in today's video, we will be learning about the C tokens. So, what is basically C tokens? These are the smallest individual units of the C program. Like we all know that we write the programs by using the C programming language, C syntaxes and all. When we write any program in the C language, we will be making use of the tokens of the C. What is meant by tokens? Tokens are nothing but small individual units that will be required for designing the program. Okay, for example, I'm writing a simple program of the C. By the end of today's video, you will be seeing how to write a basic C program. In that, I will be showing you what is meant by the token. Okay, it is a small basic element recognized by the compiler. It can be consisting of the keywords, identifiers, variables, constants, data types. All these things together forms the C tokens. Okay, character set, all those things. A token is a source program text that the compiler does not break down into component elements. It is source of this program which the compiler cannot break down into the component sets or component elements. So let us see what does the C tokens means. Yes, C tokens are nothing but the keywords, the 32 reserved words of the key of the C language. Then we have constants. Constants are nothing but these are the terms which cannot be changed. Okay, once defined cannot be changed. For example, the value of the pi. Pi is equal to 22 by 7. The value of the pi cannot be changed. Next, coming to the operators. Yes, the basic mathematical operators, plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus, and so on. Okay, then we have the symbols or the strings. Then we have the identifiers. Identifiers are nothing but the variables of the C language, which we user assign for storing the values and so on. And we also have the special symbols. All this together is forming C tokens. Okay. If I want to figure out again, I will show you one by one each one of them. So in yesterday's video, we have seen what are the keywords. We will see the rest of them in today's video. Now, C has all these different types of C tokens. Let us see each one of them one by one. Keywords, as we have seen this 32 reserved words. Example, out of them we have selected here float, int and while. Float is a numerical data type, int is also a numerical data type, and while is a looping statement, looping keyword. We also have the identifiers like I am using some variable like A, B, C. Okay, I am using the variable as salary for finding the salary of an employee. I'm writing the variable name as the employee name, student name, class, designation. All these terms that will be defined by the user, those are called as your identifiers. Okay. Apart from this, we also have the constants. Constants, as you know, these are the numbers which cannot be changed. Okay, like I gave you the example of the pi 22 by 7. 100, if I have assigned it to any variable, the value cannot be changed. Example, roll number of the student, which is constant, which can never ever be changed within the 3 years of the graduation, right? Likewise, any number that cannot be changed will be taken as constant. Next, we have strings. String is a collection of characters. For example, A is a character, B is a character, C is a character, D is a character, numerical 1 is a character, numerical 2 is a character, comma is a character, full stop is a character. Individually, when I'm considering anything from all the keys of the keyboard, those are nothing but my characters. But when I'm joining them, when I'm collaborating them, when I'm combining all these characters to make a meaningful word. Like example, there is Smith. Smith is the name of the person. Year, year of the academic year, 2020 year, whatnot. Okay, when we are joining more than one character with another, it is forming a string. So we also have strings here. We have special symbols. Yesterday we have seen about special symbols. Everything like comma, full stop, single quote, double quote, angular bracket, square bracket, normal bracket, curly brace, everything will be considered as the special symbol. Apart from that, we also have operators, plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus. These are the basic 5 mathematical operations. So altogether, these are called as the tokens of C language. Without this, our program cannot be written. These are the building blocks of the C program, I can say. Okay. Suppose you are constructing the building. Without the pillars, can the building be constructed? No, it's not possible at all. Likewise, अगर आपको C का program लिखना है, okay, we need this C tokens at any cost. Without the C tokens, we cannot write the C program. Okay, so remember these tokens, we require them while writing the program. So C programs are written using these tokens only, and these and the other general syntaxes that we learn in the coming video. So be connected. If you like the video, click on the like button, share it, comment it. How did you find? What more you like to see in the next videos? And subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe the channel. Now let us see each one of them here in detail. What is an identifier? For example, we have group of students in the classroom, around 60 members in the class. Out of those 60 members, it is difficult for us to identify each and every student without their name. Yes, identifier, the name itself is telling you how can we identify something. So here also, when I'm creating any variable, that variable will be having some value. Those values can also be having some storage in the memory location. So to identify the value of that particular variable, we create the identifiers. Like for example, there are two students with the same name as Ram. One student with the name Ram is a topper of the class, and another Ram of the same class is an average student. So how to differentiate both of them with their academics, with their gradings and all? So likewise, identifiers, if at all we are mentioning the same type of identifier, we can still differentiate them by giving the values, different values. Yes, they are the programmer chosen names to represent parts of the program. Like example, it can be the name of the variable, it can be the name of the function, etc. Okay, so identifiers will be given with by the will and wish of the programmer. Whoever is writing the program, they will be selecting their variables and functions. Likewise, we cannot use C keywords as identifiers. Very, very important point to be cleared here. Identifiers cannot be the keywords. For example, void, main, if, else, while, do, etc. etc. Out of those 32 keywords, we cannot select any one of them as the identifier. Identifier should be general terms apart from the keywords. How to write? What is the naming convention followed for the identifiers? Must begin with the alpha character or underscore and followed by alphanumeric or underscore. Yes, very, very important point again to be remembered. Identifier can never be started with a numerical value. Values can be given as numbers, but identifier, suppose there are two students with the name Ram, I said. One Ram, two Ram. Is it meaningful to you? It's not looking at all meaningful. If I say Ram underscore roll number 016, okay? Again, the second student with the name Ram underscore followed by 022, roll number 22. Okay, always there is a naming convention to be followed either in the variables or in the functions. Either you're creating the identifier for a variable or for a function, No doubt you will be using the identifiers, and it should be following the procedure called as alphabet followed by the underscore followed by the numerical value. If not, underscore is also not required. Alphabet followed by the numerical value or underscore. Anyways, but number should not be in the beginning. Upper and lower case characters are important and they are case sensitive. Yes. Very important point to be remembered. If you are using the uppercase character as an identifier, and again you are using the lowercase character, same number, same name. I'll show you an example over here now. Both of them are different. Must consist of only letters, digits, and underscores. We cannot use here comma, dot, ampersand, asterisk. Never ever. Okay. We use only three terms over here. Either the characters along with the underscore and along with the digits or the numbers 0 to 9. Apart from this, we are not going to use anything else. Only first 31st characters are significant. Yeah, very important point again to be remembered. You cannot give the very lengthy identifiers. It should be very simple and sweet. Okay, like a simple variable a simple variable name called as salary, a simple variable name as department. Likewise, a simple variable name as name must not contain spaces. Again, an important point. Identifiers will never ever take the spaces. Now, the next thing that we are going to discuss is about the constants. So, hope the identifiers part is clear to you. It is only for the variable name, like how we people identify the students in a classroom by their names. Similar is the case with the identifier. Coming to the constants. Constants are basically of two types, numeric constant and character constant. Numeric is again subdivided into two parts, integer constants and real constants. Integer, number 1 to 100, 1 to lakh, 1 to billion, 1 to trillion, anything infinite. Okay. Coming to the real constants, real is nothing but floating, where you give the decimal, like point value 0.2, 5.9. Any values that is taking the decimal value is being considered as a real constant. Coming to the character constant, we have single character constant. We also have string constants over here. Okay, character, just now I told you letter A, letter B, letter C, single character constants. Numerical 1, single character. Comma, single character. Dot, single character. Everything that will be taken in the single quotes are nothing but the single character constant. If at all we are combining them, like Rahim is a name combined with all the characters RAHEEM together forming a string, and string should always be mentioned in the double quotes. It will be clear to you in the next slide. So constants in C are the fixed values that do not change during the execution of the program. Yes, suppose I'm giving the variable name as Rahim. It should be same throughout the execution of the program. It cannot be changed during the execution of the program. No doubt for the second runtime, if you want to change, you can change it. But during the execution of the program, it remains the same. Yeah, so let us see the examples of each one of the four constants. First, coming to the integer constant, it refers to the digits, okay, such as integer, decimal integer, octal, or hexadecimal. I'll show you the example that will be more clear to you. Yeah, if you see the below example, the first term 112 is an integer constant. 0551 is again an integer constant, octal, and finally the hexadecimal. To understand the octal and hexadecimal, you must be familiar with the binary values. Okay, once you remember the binaries of the integer, how do we convert the integer into binary? How do we convert the octal into decimal? If you remember these conversions that you have read previously in your previous class, it would be more easier to you to understand this concept. I'm not going to touch those concepts now. Real constant. As a term, real is nothing but floating point where a decimal comes. Likewise, you see there, it can be negative value, it can be positive value. Wherever we see a dot or a decimal value, that is nothing but the real constants. Coming to the single character constants, yeah, it should be always denoted in a single quotes. Yes, a single character constant contains a single character enclosed in the pair of single quotes. For example, there I have told you, numerical 8 is a single character, A is a single character, I is a single character. Then, along with that, string constants. So these are the four basic constants in C. If you are familiar with it, if you have clarified all the constants now, then it would be easier for you to write the C program. Coming to the string constants, a string constant is a sequence of characters enclosed in double quotes. Difference between single character constant and string constant. Single, by the term single, it should be denoted in the single quote, whereas a string constant, it should be denoted in the double quotes. 0, 2, 1, 1 is a string. Stack overflow is a term. Okay, so it will be defined in the double quotes. So these are the four constants of the C, which is part of the tokens of the C language. Now, how do we declare a variable along with the constant? Variable is nothing but your identifier, and constant, we know, that is a value that cannot be changed during the execution of the program. Constants and variables must be declared before they are used. Yes. Suppose I'm finding the sum of A plus B plus C. Before performing this sum, I should be assigning the value of A as 10, B as 20, and C as 30. Then only I can perform the sum. Before using it, I cannot. Before declaring them, I cannot use it. Right? Similar is the case over here. You just see an example. So what is the syntax? From here onwards, you should be familiar with a word called as syntax. Syntax is nothing but a rule that to be followed, how to write a program. A constant declaration specifies the type. Okay, suppose I'm performing the sum of the three integers. Sum should be of integer type. Variable A should be of integer type. Variable B should be of integer type. Variable C should be of integer type. So variable names, whatever I'm taking, those are nothing but my variables. Okay. Whenever I'm using sum or A and B, these are my variables. Okay. And constants, when I'm assigning the value of A as 10, B as 20, C as 30, those remains my constant. Those are the values. Okay. For example, you will get a clarity below or when we write a program. An attempt to alter the value of a variable defined constant. Okay. Whenever you want to reverse it, you'll definitely face an error message by the compiler. A variable declaration specifies, yes, how do we declare a variable? Type, data type, name of the variable, followed by the value. Initial value is a good practice to mention the initial value of the variable. Let's see an example of it. When you declare a constant or a variable, the compiler will check for it, check for the value, and it will reserve a memory location for that particular constant. Suppose A is equal to 10. So inside the memory, it will be storing some space for the variable A. A is equal to 10 like that. Okay. Similarly, it associates the name of the constant or a variable with the memory location. Very important point to be understood over here. I will explain you this concept. For this, let me make use of the whiteboard. Yeah. Suppose think that this is my memory allocation. Here I have a variable A. Variable A is equal to, I'm giving some value of 10. And whenever I'm initializing. How do we initialize the variables? Int is nothing but the data type. I'll write the notation first over here. Type or data type both are same. Okay, followed by the variable name, followed by the constant or value. If you remember this notation, it will be helpful and easier for you to create the variables and values in the future. Okay, this is my syntax. So this is called as your syntax for assigning the variable a value. This is our syntax. Now coming to declaration part. How do we declare it? Like type is what? Integer type. I want to take integer type of variable a, name of the variable is a, is equal to constant value I want to assign as 10. And remember, every statement in C language will be ended by a semicolon. Every statement in a C language will be ended by a semicolon. So when I'm declaring it, it will be allocating a memory space over here in this way. Okay, memory allocation it is called as. Memory allocation will be assigned. So here inside the memory also there will be some memory address. Suppose 1001. This is the memory address. I'll take this. This is called as your memory address. And this is called as your memory allocation. Remember? So likewise, you should be declaring your variables and assigning them. Is this clear to you? Hope it is clear to everyone now. Let us go back to our previous slide where we were discussing about the next topic. Fine. Hope it is clear how it is allocating or reserving the memory. Now, what are variables in C? As I have told you, variable A we have declared just now. Likewise, we will understand a variable is a data name that is used to store any data value. Just now I have shown you that variables are used to store the values that can be changed during the program execution. It will be highly used during the program execution. And it has some algebraical values. Okay, meaning is some respectable meaning is given to it, where we represent some unknown or variable values. Example, x is equal to a plus b. This is my expression. Okay, when I assign the value of a and b, then only I can find the value of x. If at all I know the value of y, I can be finding the value of z. Like whatever you did in your algebra, same thing applies here to your variables in C also. In algebra also, letter A, B and X, Y, Z were defined as variables. Similar is the case here. It should be defined somewhere so that we can get the value of it. Remember that variables in algebra are represented by a single alphabetical order. Yeah, we mentioned their variables by single alphabetical character. Here also we are doing the same way. Now, how should we name the variables? This I have just now shown you may consist of letters, digits and underscore. It follows the same naming principle like identifier. If I tell you variables and identifiers both are identical to each other, there is no difference at all into them. Okay, so whatever we have, the naming convention for the identifier, similar is the case with the variables. It cannot be a number, it cannot be bigger than 31 characters. It cannot be taken as the reserved words or the keywords. And it shouldn't be with a number. It should be always starting with a letter or an underscore. Okay, it consists of letters, numbers and underscores, and no special characters are allowed, including space. Spaces are also not allowed in the variables. For example, I will show you before going to this case sensitivity. Okay, let me clear even this, then it will be easier for you to understand. I told you in my previous video, case sensitivity of the C language. C language is very case sensitive. It follows the lowercase characters. It it matters whether an identifier or a variable name is in uppercase or lowercase. For example, area, all letters in the small case, lowercase. This is one way of representation. Another way of representation with the letter A as a capital letter. Third way of representation, all of them in the uppercase. And the fourth way of representation, each one of them is different. For our English terminology, area is nothing but area only, either it be in the lowercase or the uppercase. But this is not the case with the C programming. It is different in all the four cases. Okay, you should remember this point. Okay. Now coming to the next concept, how are we going to declare it? I've just now shown you this by using my whiteboard. So hope it would be clear to you when you see this representation. Int length is taken, float area is taken, and finally when I'm applying it, it should be considering as some value. See, variables are not automatically initialized, as I told you just now. It should be giving some initial value. That is a good practice to assign the variables or to declare the variables. Otherwise, it will be taking something as a garbage value. The value, if it is not designed, not defined, then it will be considering a garbage value. Okay, thus it is good practice to initialize the variables when they are declared. Once a value has been placed in a variable, it stays there until the program alters it. So that was a concept of variables or identifiers. Then coming to the next concept, data types in our C language, there are three basic categories of the data types. The first case is of primitive data type, where we see the data types as integer, float, double, and character. Okay. The second type of data type is aggregate or derived data types. Arrays come under this category. Okay. Array contains collection of similar data elements. Similar data elements, when we collectively write, that forms an array. And finally, user defined data type, structure, and all those things fall under this category. Whereas derived data types, arrays, functions, strings, all these things comes under this aggregate or derived data types. So this is the data types of the C language. I hope it is much clear to you all. We will look into all these concepts in the future videos. And this is a representation of the data types. It must be remembered. It is good practice if the programmer remembers the size of the data type and how it is being used. For example, I'll explain you the type here. Character. It's nothing but single character A, B, C. Okay. The size of that one is 8 bits represented in the ANSI, and the minimum and the maximum range has been defined to you. Always remember, whenever it is signed, okay, whenever it is something called as signed, all this takes only the negative and the positive values. All the signed characters will be taking the negative and the positive values. All the unsigned characters or integer or floating point values will be taking the positive values only. There is no negative in the unsigned. There is always negative and positive in the signed variables. Okay. Rest of them you need to remember as it is, and the sizes has also to be remembered. 8 bits together forms a single byte. I will explain the concept of bit and byte in my next video. Hope it will be clear to you over there, this concept. Now, so the sizes of the data types, it should be remembered in this way. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So as you have seen over here, if you see, character takes 8 bits. 8 bits is nothing but single byte. Integer takes 2 bytes. 2 bytes is nothing but 16 bits. Okay. And long and the float and double takes How many bytes? 4 bytes. That's why it is 32 bits. Okay. Integer, short int is 2, int long int is 4, float is again 4 bytes, double and long double is 12, 8, and void is also a data type which is meaningless. Let us see a small example C program. This is a small example C program which will be consisting of the first line is nothing but the documentation section. The second line hash include. Yesterday we have seen hash include followed by the .h category. It's nothing but the header file. Okay, header file always will be ended by the .h. Void is again a data type, just now you have seen in the previous slide. And main is my function where I want to print only a statement called as hello world. And I'm ending my program by using getChe. This is also a function. Remember, always the functions will be enclosed by the brackets. Okay, always the functions will be followed by the normal brackets. So wherever we see the brackets, that is nothing but the functions. And there is a huge difference between angular bracket, normal bracket, and square bracket. So let us see the output of this one. So this way you will be seeing the output of this program. Fine. So hope today's video is clear to you. Today you have learned the C tokens, very important concept, where these are the building blocks of the C program. Without the C tokens, we cannot write the program. So there are the 6 main important parts of the C tokens. First one is identifier, variables, constants, operators. Then we have symbols. Okay, characters we have. All together we are forming the C tokens. And apart from that, we have learned today how to declare a variable, how to assign a constant to a variable, how to declare an identifier. Identifier and variables both are similar, but the terminology, sometimes we are using it as a variable, and sometimes we are using as an identifier, as a naming convention is same for both of them. And again, we have seen the various data types. There are 3 basic data types: primitive, secondary data type, or it is also called as derived, and user defined. Hope you like the video. If you like the video, click on the like button, share it, and comment in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe for the upcoming videos and the more updates. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, stay happy, stay corona free.